I'm Randy Roberson with KRIM Radio and Tano TV. I'm once again honored to help MC this year's Veterans Day tribute event, albeit in this virtual format. Now, I'm not a veteran, but I have been inspired and blessed to have worked alongside our active duty military in multiple disasters. In 2010, I had the privilege of working alongside members of the 82nd Airborne in the aftermath of the horrific earthquake in Haiti. Many of them were fresh off the bloody battlefields in the Middle East, but before transitioning back home, they were reassigned and called to help the humanitarian effort there in Haiti. Well, I got to know several of them fairly well and just really admired their dedication, their focus, and their attitude. In fact, one even gave me this 82nd Airborne medallion for our time together in a pretty horrific time and place. It's a cherished keepsake. Well, there have been other similar experiences, but it all brings together in my mind and heart how truly important it is to take time to remember the sacrifices made and to say thanks to these heroes. Some years ago, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt signed what many historians consider to be the greatest social legislation ever passed by the U.S. Congress. As popular as the GI Bill remains today, it took the horrific cost and bloodshed of World War II to remind many Americans just how great a debt is owed to our veterans. Most Americans profess to truly love our veterans, especially on Veterans Day and Memorial Day. And while their feelings are usually sincere, it's important to remember that veterans are defending us 365 days a year. That heroism that has been demonstrated time and time again by veterans, from the American Revolution to the global war on terrorism, is sometimes unnoticed by those of us who enjoy the security that their sacrifice has provided. Our debt to these heroes can never be repaid, but our gratitude and respect must last forever. For many veterans, our nation was important enough to endure long separations from their families, miss the birth of their children, freeze in sub-zero temperatures, bake in wild jungles, lose limbs, and far too often, lose their lives. Military spouses have had to endure career interruptions, frequent changes of address, and a disproportionate share of parental responsibilities. The children often had to deal with changes in schools, separation from friends, and hardest of all, the uncertainty of whether or not mom or dad will live through their next combat tour. Pride in one's military service is a bond shared by nearly all who have served. This pride is on display on every obituary page in the country where military service, regardless of how many decades have passed and subsequent achievements reached, is mentioned with the death notice of nearly every deceased veteran. Can any CEO or distinguished Ivy League graduate truly claim to have more responsibility than that of a 21-year-old squad leader walking point on patrol in Afghanistan? Well, we must remember them, we must appreciate them, and we will do so on this day set aside to pay tribute to our American veterans, past, present, and those yet to come. With the COVID-19 pandemic keeping many of us distanced from each other, that didn't stop retired Marine Colonel Bill Sano, who is the chairman of the Payson Patriotic Events Committee, from making sure we once again said thanks to our veterans for all they do. His involvement in such outreach is just a small portion of why he was inducted into the Arizona Veterans Hall of Fame in 2011. As we pull together this virtual tribute message, he asked that I simply share this letter from him, and I'm proud and honored to do so. It reads like this. Fellow Americans, best wishes to all on this Veterans Day 2020. As you know, Veterans Day is designated as a national holiday, but it is much more than that. Veterans Day is a special time set aside for us to remember and honor America's bravest sons and daughters who answered the call to defend their nation and, in doing so, made the greatest sacrifice of all. On this day, we not only honor those who made the supreme sacrifice, but all veterans, past, present, and those to come. In today's fast-paced cavalcade of worldwide events, we sometimes become more involved in what's happening today and concerned about what will happen tomorrow, and we may tend to forget what brought us to this point in time in our history as a nation. Although our country is relatively young in comparison to most, we have been through a nation-building Revolutionary War, a traumatic and devastating Civil War, 2 world wars, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, and we continue to manufacture veterans ever since. Throughout that time, we have faced challenges to our democracy and our freedoms, and there were those who stepped up to the plate and made the down payment on the price paid to protect and defend the freedoms that we enjoy today. Veterans Day is the time set aside for us to remember and honor them all, for that price can never be repaid. On this Veterans Day and on future Veterans Days, let us take time to remember all those who died in the service of our country, not just the warriors who fell on the battlefield proper, but also the many men and women who came home from battle, forever scarred both mentally and physically. We should remember them all. Best wishes for a safe and enjoyable Veterans Day this year of 2020 as we forge forward facing the challenges ahead. Best wishes to all, and Semper Fidelis, signed Bill Sano, Colonel, U.S. Marine Corps, retired, Chairman, Payson Patriotic Events Committee.
my fellow veterans and the people of this community. I'm Tom Morrissey. I'm the mayor of Payson, and I am a proud veteran of the United States Army. We are celebrating once again Veterans Day. Only this year, we are facing a new challenge, and we are up for it, and we are dealing with it. So we are doing video presentations. I just want to say to you that this country is it has the freedoms that we have because of our veterans, and we must always remember that, especially those who have been in combat. So Veterans Day is always a celebration and a chance to honor those who have served our country. And in my case, I can say to you that it has been an honor for me to serve my country. So no thanks necessary for me, but I want to ask God's blessing on you all and on our country in these very trying times. And I look forward to a great Veterans Day and many more. Thank you.
You have our backs, you always do. You know that we rely on you. You have our hearts, we honor you. The heroes of red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue. We are a grateful nation for all you do, for all you've done. You put yourselves right on the line. Because of you, we're doing fine. Your families have given too, and they deserve our gratitude. Our gratitude. We are a grateful nation for all you do, for all you've done. We are a grateful nation for all you do, for all you've done. Give it up for the heroes. Give it up for the heroes. Give it up for the heroes. We are grateful. Give it up for the heroes. Give it up for the heroes. Give it up for the heroes. We are grateful. We are grateful.
Hi, this is Chief Ron Tischer from the Payson Police Department. On behalf of everyone at the police department, we'd like to thank you for your service in the military. Unfortunately, due to COVID, we can't be together this year, so we truly enjoy seeing everybody's faces and hearing their stories. But next year will be different, hopefully, and we can get back together and get things back to normal. It's been some challenging times, and you know what challenges are like more than anyone. So again, we'd like to thank you. I know we don't say it enough, but even though we can't be together this year, I just want to reassure you that each and every day we're thinking about you and wishing you and your families the best. So from everybody at the police department, thank you what you've done and serving the greatest military in this world. So thanks again, and we'll see you soon.
Hi, I'm David Staub, Fire Chief of the Town of Payson Fire Department. And once again, we're getting together for Veterans Day, just in a unique way through a video like we did for Memorial Day. And it's unfortunate with COVID that we can't all get together, but at least we get to do something to celebrate our veterans like we did for Memorial Day for our veterans who gave the ultimate sacrifice. And I want to thank Colonel Sano and his team for putting this together. He does a great job every year. So my story this year is I wanted to talk about I want to do something about leadership, and I started thinking about leaders, and this is being filmed before November 11th. Today's the September 25th. Tomorrow, the U.S. Navy commissions the USS Delbert Black, DDG 119, and I wanted to talk about him as a great leader. So Master Chief Delbert Black joined the Navy in March of 1941 and was in the galley of the USS Maryland in Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. During his service in the Pacific, he saw his ship torpedoed several times and attacked by kamikaze planes. Master Chief Black's words, "I was definitely haze gray and underway most of the time in the Navy, and I loved it." He struck for the rate of gunner's mate and advanced to the rating of gunner's mate, Master Chief gunner's mate. Sorry, Navy folks. In 1966, the senior leadership of the Navy conducted a survey of their junior enlisted, and the results of that survey was that the junior enlisted felt the senior Navy was out of touch. So the CNO at the time appointed Master Chief Black to be a Master Chief Senior Enlisted Advisor to the senior leadership of the Navy. This position was later reclassified a few months later as Master Chief Petty Officer in the Navy, and Master Chief Black was the first Master Chief to fill that role. He quickly earned the respect of the officers in the senior Navy and became a hero to all the enlisted sailors. In 1971, Master Chief Black retired and continued to serve the Navy that he so deeply loved as an active member of the USO and the Fleet Reserve Association. He was known as a humble leader who had enlisted sailors line up just to say hi to him at gatherings. And what impressed me about Master Chief Black was he passed away in 2000 from a heart attack. And as I understand it, enlisted sailors today still revere him, admire him, and wish to emulate him. And most of those sailors weren't even alive when he was alive. So that's a leader, I really think so, and a great veteran and a great human being. And I want to thank Master Chief Black and all of you veterans for everything you do and the sacrifices you made, your families for putting up for the long 10 years of you being deployed or underway, everything you've done for our country. On behalf of all of the Payson Fire Department and my family, I thank you for everything you've done. Have a great day in honor of yourself, and as the rest of us citizens, let's honor our veterans every day. Thank you.
On behalf of the Payson Patriotic Events Committee, thank you for joining us for this virtual tribute to our veterans past, present, and those to come. Most every one of us know at least one veteran in our life. We ask you to reach out and thank one today. Their sacrifice and service have provided so much for our country, and we must not ever take that for granted. Again, thank you for watching. May God bless our veterans, and may God bless the United States of America.